I have the privilege of following and speaking to a really impressive set of people. So hopefully I have something useful to say in the negative 2 minutes left until the half hour.
You take the right time.
Yeah, no, it's fine. A friend once told me if it takes more than 3 people and more than 3 steps to fix a problem, it won't get fixed. I don't like it, but she was mostly right. We've heard tons of great examples of pinpoint practical solutions by Nick Kristof and others, and getting key things onto the agenda from Tony Staines. But what good is finding 1 step or even 3-step fixes when we have a polycrisis of decaying climate, broken politics, failing institutions, and minimal trust, when the whole world feels like it's breaking? I know that we're people who identify big systemic problems, but broad reforms of complex systems are slow, fallible, and liable to suck the energy from people's efforts to fix anything, especially over a 1-week conference. So why focus on low-hanging fruit when we have real problems to solve? So first, I think the credibility of making a change gives you leverage for the future. And I think that this is an opportunity for everyone to start as a group to build that. Second, thankfully, it turns out that not every systemic problem requires complete systemic overhauls to fix. Narrow fixes can and do create big changes. Runaway systems feel inescapable, but escalating crises also can have weak points. When you're scared of financial crashes, a circuit breaker can halt a panic. If you're facing online distrust, you can build feedback layers that can start to rebuild that trust. So we can use systemic understanding to focus, but we can't focus too narrowly. Given the problems we face, we do need a broad understanding to identify viable narrow solutions. Thankfully, I think all the parts of the broad understanding that we need are here in the virtual room. Now we have the admittedly very tricky problem of trying to zoom in, identify specific high leverage problems, as Adam said, not focusing on how bad it is, and finding actions that don't rule out solutions. But I'll add, I think, minimal actions to move the needle, and then figuring out how to make the changes happen. So what's the ideal marginal solution to each of your systemic problems? Obviously, I don't know, but I will again agree with Adam that many of the typical objections are shallow and tired. So I think that we still have some useful guidelines for what it is that we should be doing. When exploring each domain and sorting through possibilities, we will work together, but if you need lots of people's contributions, your odds will drop. If you have to convince the people first, your workload explodes. If coordination is required, guess who's going to be doing the coordinating? If the people you need to act can't take credit, why are they going to help? And if you expect them to figure anything out or spend their time or money or political capital, it's going to be hard. Practical solutions try to avoid these traps, or at least start by asking, which of the barriers can I remove now? In the best case, if you manage a clear, worked out, narrow solution, one that a specific person can understand and act on unilaterally and hopefully even take credit for, you're more than 90% of the way there. After that, all you need is their attention. But if you need to convince a large group of people, if the decision makers can't take credit, if they have to do the legwork themselves, then you better have a decade to make it happen. And we don't. We have a week. So here's my pitch. We all need to iterate on our understanding of the problems that we choose, generate dozens and dozens of ideas that could materially change the picture, and find ones that won't shoot off into the void the moment you're trying to implement them with all of these barriers. So our job isn't just to dream big, it's to think big picture, then dream tactically and brilliantly, but small. So this week, I hope we can find projects that are light enough to lift, sharp enough to matter, and grounded enough to land. And with that, back to you.